Yes, sir. Thank you, Sir Joey. Good morning again, everyone. So I'll be presenting the climate review from March to April 23, 2023. So the content of my presentation or content outline is first yung ating recent ENSO condition and then the weather systems that affected our country during March to April 23. Climate assessment in terms of rainfall and temperature, and also our summary. So before we proceed to the presentation, I would like to share first yung mga pag-asa issuance for the month of March. Una na dito yung official na deklarasyon ng pagtatapos ng ating Northeast Monsoon. So ito na po yung official natin na pagpamamaalam sa malalamig na araw natin, yung ating magagandang panahon. And then, nung March 23, of course, naglabas din po si Pag-asa ng isang press statement for the preparation for the warm and dry season, na kung saan nagbibigay tayo ng abiso sa ating publiko at saka sa iba pa pong concerned government agencies na magkaroon po tayo ng precautionary measures para mabawasan po natin yung mga accompanying health risks na associated with these climate conditions. And of course, because this is a dry season, gaya nga po ng sinabi ni Miss Rosalie and ni Sir Joey na mag-conserve po tayo ng tubig kasi hindi po natin alam kung kailan po tayo magkakaroon ng enough water para po sa ating personal and domestic consumption. Meron din po tayong ni-release na press statement for the El Nino Watch. Bagamat tinapos na po or nagkaroon na po tayo ng final advisory for the La Nina condition. So nandun na po tayo sa ENSO neutral condition as of the moment. However, meron po tayong nakikitang possibility na magkaroon ng transition to El Nino in July, August, September. Kaya po si Pag-asa is nagpalabas ng press statement for the monitoring of this El Nino condition, which is yung ating El Nino Watch. With this, so ang inaabisuhan ni Pag-asa ang ating publiko na maging aware and prepared. So maging updated po tayo sa mga climate advisories. Andun pa rin po yung conserve yung water. And then, of course, makipag-cooperate po tayo sa ating local government for the El Nino measures. For the El Nino Southern Oscillation Indicators or ENSO indicators, so ito po yung tinitingnan ni Pag-asa to monitor kung nasaan na po bang level tayo ngayon in terms of the ENSO. Una na rito yung ating atmospheric indicator o yung ating Southern Oscillation Index. Ang ibig sabihin lamang po nito, ito po yung pressure difference between Darwin and Tahiti, na kung saan kapag ang level po ng ating pressure difference ay mas mataas pa dito sa ating blue line or 7, ibig sabihin lamang po nito ay La Nina level. Kapag po ang ating SOI value ay mas mababa po dito sa ating red line, nangangahulugan lamang po ito ng El Nino level. As of March 2023, may makikita po natin na tayo po ay still na nasa neutral level. Now, checking the 30-day moving SOI, so ang ating value is negative 3.9 as of April 23. So, nandoon pa rin po siya sa bagamat nandoon pa rin siya sa neutral level, still mapapansin po natin yung trend ng ating graph ay pababa na po yung ating SOI or ating Southern Oscillation Index. For the oceanic indicator or yung ating ERSST, ang ibig sabihin lamang po nito is ito po yung pag-init or yung paglamig ng temperatura sa Nino 3.4 or dito po sa bahagi ng dagat Pasipiko. So if ang value po ng ating anomaly is greater than 0.5, ito po ay nangangahulugan lamang ng El Nino condition. While kapag ito po ay mas mababa sa negative 0.5, ibig sabihin lamang po nito ay La Nina condition. As of March 2023, nandoon pa rin po tayo sa neutral level. Pero kung pagbabasihan po natin yung latest weekly SST departure as of April 2023, bagamat yung ating mga temperatura or yung level po na ating temperature dito sa Nino 3.4 ay 0.3, so nasa neutral level pa rin po siya, still makikita po natin yung trend ng ating anomaly ay paakyat na po yung ating temperature dun po sa ating dagat Pasipiko. Kung kaya, si Pag-asa ay from inactive ay nag-raise po ng El Niño Watch yung ating ENSO Alert System status. And nag-release po tayo ng monthly climate assessment and outlook noong April 6, 2023 with the statement po na we are in a ENSO neutral condition. But however, we are expecting a transition or possibility of transition to El Niño in the July, August, September of 2023 season. So mamaya po sa ating climate outlook, makikita po natin kung ano po ba yung magiging forecast po natin in terms of our ENSO conditions. So we have released also a narrative format of our monthly climate assessment and outlook, and we have also a simplified version for the easy visualization and understanding of our outlook. Now, for the weather systems that affected the country, we have here 7 po na weather systems that affected our country from March to April 23, 2023. So meron po tayo ditong northeast monsoon which terminated po noong March 21. And also we have shear line na nagpapaulan po particular na po dito sa Visayas and then sa Mindanao noong March. We also have LPA noong March and then this April. So nagbibigay po siya ng pag-ulan particular po sa Eastern Visayas and then sa Mindanao. We have ridge of high pressure na nagbibigay po ng fair weather naman po sa may Luzon part of the country. And of course, we have localized thunderstorms na nagbibigay po ng pag-ulan sa mga isolated thunderstorms po nagbibigay ng pag-ulan sa iba't ibang bahagi po ng ating bansa. And yung ating unang bagyo para sa taong 2023, si TD Amang, Tropical Depression Amang, noong April 10 to 13, 2023. For the situation overview po ni Tropical Depression Amang, noong April 10 to 13, so from low pressure area, noong April 10, and then noong April 11 po, na-develop na po siya into tropical depression. Then nagkaroon po siya ng landfall sa Panganiban, Catanduanes. So nagbigay po siya ng mga pag-ulan dito po sa bahagi ng Bicol region. And then nagkaroon din po siya ng landfall dito sa Presentacion, Camarines Sur noong April 12. And another landfall sa Laguna, Camarines Sur noong April 12. Noong April 13, so humina na po siya into a low pressure area. Kaya kung mapapansin po natin, most of the rainfall po na associated to TD Amang is nandito lamang po sa Calabarzon at Bicol region. So this is some of the images of the impact of Tropical Depression Amang noong April 10 to 13 na mostly po ay nakuhanan po sa Bicol area and sa Calabarzon area po. As for the summary of the impact ni TD Amang from the dashboard of NDRRMC, so meron po tayong 26,000 na affected families during the passage of TD Amang from the 2 regions. And then we also have 140 related incidents, 136 of it is flooding incidents, and 7 naman po is landslides incidents po na reported in Calabarzon and in Region 5. For the damages in agriculture, meron tayong estimated cost of damages na worth 12,341,646 pesos po. Meron din po tayong reported na mga class suspensions and work suspensions in the Calabarzon and Region 5. Now for the climate assessment, so we have here the March 2023 rainfall, actual rainfall. Dito po sa ating side na to, ito po yung tinatawag natin na normal rainfall from 1991 to 2020. Ang ibig sabihin lamang po nito, ito po yung inaasahan natin na pag-ulan para sa buwan ng Marso. So most of the rainfall po na inaasahan natin ay makikita po natin yan sa eastern part po ng ating bansa and then dito po sa Mindanao. Marami po tayong pag-ulan na inaasahan dito. But in actual rainfall po ng March, kung ikukumpara po natin, mas mababa po yung pag-ulan na natanggap po natin ngayong Marso kumpara po dito sa normal rainfall map po natin. Lalong-lalo na po dito sa Luzon part of the Philippines. Kaya kung mapapansin natin, in terms of percent normal, most parts of our country experience way below to below normal rainfall conditions. So, ito po yung mga areas na yun. However, dito po sa Mindanao at sa Samar Province, sila po ay nakaranas naman po ng near to above rainfall conditions. Now, due to the passage of the LPA and some isolated thunderstorms, so yun po, nagkaroon po ng mga flooding incidents na unreported dito po, particular dito sa ating Mindanao area. In terms of temperature assessment for March 2023, so generally sa the whole country, sa Luzon and Visayas, generally near to below average mean surface temperature po ang na-observe natin. And then for the Mindanao po is near to slightly above average. So, although ang nararamdaman po natin ay after ng amihan medyo mainit, still makikita po natin dito is nasa near to below average pa rin naman po yung range ng temperature natin in Luzon and then in Visayas. For the highest and lowest recorded temperature for the month, so ang pinakamataas na temperatura po na naitala natin for March 24 and 25 is 37 degrees Celsius in San Jose Occidental, Mindoro. While in Metro Manila, we have recorded a 36 degrees Celsius na highest temperature in Science Garden, Quezon City noong March 25. For the minimum temperature, yung lowest minimum temperature natin, pinakamababa po na naitala natin is 10.9 in Baguio City noong March 6 and 10 degrees Celsius naman in BSU La Trinidad noong March 3. As for Metro Manila, ang pinakamababang temperatura na naitala ay 20.2 noong March 5 sa Science Garden. During the March 2023, wala po tayong naitala or nai-record na surpass na temperature sa mga estasyon po natin for this month. For the actual rainfall from April 1 to 2023, April 1 to 23, makikita po natin yung ating normal rainfall. Still, here is the normal rainfall natin. So, ito po inaasahan natin pag-ulan for the month of April. So, makikita po natin most parts of the country ay meron po tayo inaasahan na pag-ulan. Pero yung greater amount po ng pag-ulan ay makikita po natin sa eastern section of the country and in Mindanao. Comparing it to the actual rainfall noong April 1 to 23, mapapansin po natin na dito po sa Bicol region and dito sa ating Calabarzon and central region ng Luzon ay makikita natin yung mga pag-ulan ay mas mataas compared po dun sa normal. But most parts po ay hindi po masyado tayo nakatanggap ng pag-ulan. Kaya kung ikukumpara po natin sa percent normal, from April 1 to 23, most parts of our country still receives a way below to below normal rainfall condition, except po dun sa dinaanan po ni Tidiamang sa Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, and here in Southern Luzon, ay meron po tayong above normal rainfall condition, near to above normal rainfall condition, and some parts in Visayas and in Mindanao. For the temperature assessment for April 1 to 23, generally, pagamat these past few days is nararamdaman natin na ito na nga, umiinit na nga yung ating temperatura, masyado nang mainit at maalinsangan yung panahon. Pero kung makikita po natin dito sa ating mapa, lalo na po dito sa Luzon, generally ay near to below average mean surface temperature pa rin po yung ating naobserbahan in most parts of Luzon. While dito po sa ating Visayas at Mindanao ay near to slightly above average mean surface temperature naman po ang ating naobserbahan. For the highest and lowest recorded temperature for the April 1 to 23, Ang pinakamataas na temperatura po na naitala is 37.5 sa Iso, Itiaga, Isabela noong April 20 and 21. Para naman po sa Metro Manila, 36.2 po yung pinakamataas na temperatura na naitala noong April 20 sa NAIA and Science Garden, Quezon City po. Meanwhile, dito po sa ating lowest temperature, meron po tayong naitalang 15.5 sa Baguio City noong April 9 and then 13.9 po yung pinakamababa sa BSU La Trinidad noong April 8. Para sa Metro Manila po, ang pinakamababang temperatura na naitala ay 22.8 degrees Celsius noong April 13 sa port area. And then sa Science Garden naman po ay April 4. Meron din po tayo mga significant weather event, bagamat wala po tayo masyadong pag-ulan na nararanasan nitong mga nakarang araw, ay meron po tayo mga significant event po na i-record or na-document. So meron po mga lightning incident. So may 6 na katao po na tinamaan ng kidlat. Particular na po doon po sa Mindanao, sa may Davao City, noong April 10. Meron din po tayo mga ulang lugar na nagkaroon ng hailstorm sa particular na po sa Negros Occidental and dito po sa Iloilo, sa bahagi po ng Badyangan, Iloilo. Now for my summary, so ang ating ENSO alert system status is El Nino Watch and ENSO neutral. For the rainfall and temperature, rainfall po ng March 2023, the way below to below normal rainfall conditions were experienced most parts of the country. However, in the Mindanao and Samar provinces, they experienced near to above normal rainfall conditions. In terms of temperature, generally near to below average mean surface temperature in most parts of Luzon and Visayas, while near to slightly above average mean surface temperature naman po sa Mindanao. As for April 1 to 23, we have way below to below normal rainfall conditions in most parts of the country. And then, near to above normal rainfall conditions naman po para sa Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, and some provinces in Visayas and Mindanao. For the temperature, we have here generally near to below average mean surface temperature in most parts of Luzon, and near to slightly above average mean surface temperature in Visayas and in Mindanao. Yun naman po at maraming salamat po. Sir Joey.
Yan. Thank you so much, Ms. Canlas, for that comprehensive review of our climate for the past 54 days. At sabi nga niya, nasa normal pa naman tayo. Although init na tayo, although normal naman yan dahil nasa dry and warm season tayo. Pero pagdating sa ulan, ay nakikita natin no past 54 days na may kakulangan tayo sa ulan, maliban lamang doon sa Mindanao area. Okay, up next we have Mr. Juni Ruiz of CADCRIMS who will be giving us insights on the subseasonal to seasonal forecast. Juni?
Thank you, Sir Joe. I will be sharing my screen po.
Okay, proceed.
So, good morning, everyone. So, I will be discussing the subseasonal to seasonal for S2S climate forecast. So, the outline of the presentation is a brief description of the S2S forecast, predictability of S2S and the subseasonal climate forecast, which includes the probability of tropical cyclone and rainfall for the next 2 weeks. So, briefly, subseasonal prediction or the subseasonal forecast is known to bridge the gap. So, makikita natin of the weather prediction and the seasonal prediction. So, mostly yung weather prediction only is up to 1 to 14 days, while the seasonal prediction naman po begins in 1 month. So, within that is my gap, which is ito po yung fini-fill up ng seasonal prediction. So why is it important? Because during this time, we have ample time to prepare for what we call the extreme weather events like the occurrence of tropical cyclone, monsoon surge, and the probability of extreme rainfall na posible makaapekto po sa bansa natin, especially sa location ng Pilipinas, which is marami pong nakakaapekto na weather system. So, the probability of S2S is first being affected by the MJO or the Madden-Julian Oscillation. And then the second one would be the El Nino Southern Oscillation or ENSO. And the third one would be the stratospheric interaction between yung mga interaction po ng kahanginan sa yung temperatura ng dagat within yung nakapalibot sa Pilipinas. So, yung MGO po, briefly is discussed as a set of cloudiness that may affect yung development ng weather system, especially sa Pilipinas. It could be a tropical cyclone, monsoon, o it may affect yung mga dalang pag-ulan ng intertropical convergence zone and yung pinaka maliit na weather system which is a thunderstorm. So, it greatly affects yung mga weather systems ngayon. So, what is MGO? MGO is just the propagation of a set of cloudiness from Africa. So, along the equator lang po yung propagation niya from Africa towards the Philippines. So, ito po yung cycle niya from week 1 is dito po siya sa may Africa, then propagates towards the Philippines from in week 4 to 5. So, week 2 to 5. So, pa-westerly po yung kilos niya. So, it acts as a modulator of tropical cyclone formation in the country. So, ito po yung cycle po ng MGO. So, we are affected especially in phases starting from phase 5 to phase 6. Makikita natin the cloudiness is represented by yung cloudiness po, na color green to blue. So, ito po siya. So, makikita natin from phase 4, andito po siya, then phase 5, 6, which it may amplify yung formation ng tropical cyclone or yung mga dala na ulan na dulot ng other weather systems like ITCC, LPAs, thunderstorm, and other rain-bearing weather systems. So for the assessment of the MGO for the past 40 days, kung makikita natin, yung propagation ng MGO is nasa phase 7, phase 7, 8, 1, saka 2. But for the, tinatawag nating maritime continent where the Philippines belong, is within the, siya, circle, meaning, yung propagation ng MGO along the Philippines is weak. So that is why it basically mean that it did not affect yung mga formation ng rain-bearing weather systems sa bansa natin. So especially during the formation of Amang, wala pong influence yung MGO sa time na yon. So that is why hindi siya nag-progress hanggang TD lang po siya. Then dissipate afterwards. Well, for the forecast evolution of MGO for the next 15 days, for the period of April 24 to May 8, makita natin the propagation of MGO. So, bale, for week 1, yung red color line, ito po yung week 1 forecast niya, then the blue color line is yung week 2. So, kung makikita natin, so these three models from GFS, CMWF, and the GMA is nagpapakita po ng weak signal. So, yung propagation daw niya is from phase 1, which is nasa Africa, then propagating towards the Philippines, pero yung signal niya is very weak. So, within the circle siya. So, it may mean that the propagation of MGO does not have a significant effect kung ano man yung mga rain-bearing weather systems na makaka-apekto po sa Pilipinas. But, there is also a probability that based dito sa ECMWF, na sa week 2 daw, there is a sudden paglakas ng MGO sa phase 4 and 5. So hanggang May 8 po to, which may signify na kung may mabuo man ito na weather systems or LPA, is possible niyang maapektuhan. So the period comes from May 2 to May 8 daw. So what are the implications of this MGO sa forecast natin? So first, we go on sa tropical cyclone. So for now, so based po sa pinresent ni Sir Alxa Aurelio kanina, so our weather forecaster is may tayo minamataan po na LPA dito po sa tinatawag nating Philippine Monitoring Domain, ay Pag-asa Monitoring Domain. So, but this LPA or this CLB, dahil malakas po masyado yung ridge, so hindi po favorable yung environment niya, it's matutunaw po siya, it may enter or may not enter the par bago po siya mag-dissipate. So less likelihood of becoming a TC in the next few days. So therefore, wala pong TC threat na nakikita tayo for week 1. Well, for week 2 naman, so even though yung signal ng MGO na pinakita kanina is mag-strengthen siya, but the possibility of tropical cyclone like vortex formation or LPA formation is maliit yung chance na may mabuo. So meaning po, kung wala po tayong weather system na or set of cloudiness na mabubuo for week 2, then wala din po tayong TC threat during the forecast period. So with this, so ito po yung common tracks ng tropical cyclones for April. So yung amang po is hindi po siya typical track ng tropical cyclones for April na dito po siya dumaan sa may southern Luzon. So usually daw, kung may tropical cyclone is na mabuo for April, dito siya dadaan sa may Samar area at or possible na mag-record before mag-landfall. While for May naman, so common track of tropical cyclones is magkocross siya, dito siya papasok sa may Samar area, then lalabas po siya sa may Calabarzon area. Or otherwise, magre-record po siya before making landfall. But during May, this LPAs or tropical cyclone na magpo-form may contribute sa maraming rainfall towards climate type 1 stations, saka yung dito po sa may eastern sections ng Luzon, which may help din po trigger yung tinatawag nating onset of the rainy season sa climate type 1 or the western section stations ng Luzon at parts ng Visayas. So for the rainfall forecast for the week 1, which dated from April 26 to May 2, so napapansin po natin high to a very high probability of 25 mm of rainfall is forecasted po in Mindanao, Eastern Visayas, saka yung parts po ng CAR. So yung Mindanao po, nasabi po ni Sir Alxar kanina na possible na maapektuhan na po tayo ng ITCC sa may Mindanao. So this probably is the cause ng high to very high probability of rainfall na mag-exceed ng 25 mm along this area. While yung nasa CAR naman po is yung tinatawag nating thunderstorm activity caused by orographic effect kasi may mountainous area po dito. While for the probability of rainfall for 50 mm, medyo mataas pa din po dito sa may around Lanao provinces saka parts po ng Zamboanga Peninsula at dito po sa may Eastern Samar. While 100 mm, maliit po yung tsansa or more than 100 mm na rainfall in most parts of the country. Then for week 2, so almost the same po dun sa week 1, na may mga high to very high probability of rainfall exceeding 25 mm po sa Mindanao at dito po sa Maycar area. While moderate to high probability and Nueva Vizcaya, dito po sa may eastern sections ng Mindanao, most parts of Visayas, and otherwise, low to moderate naman sa mga remaining parts of the country. While for 50 millimeter, so may probability dito sa may Mindanao area ng moderate to high probability na magkaroon po ng 50 millimeter or more but less than 100 millimeter of rainfall, especially dito po sa may western saka central part of Mindanao, saka some areas po ng CAR, while low chance for 100 millimeter or more rainfall in most parts of the country. So in summary po, current MGO status, models indicate the MGO will continue to move from Africa towards the Indian Ocean, then towards the Philippines with a weak signal. High impact weather events for week 1 and 2 is low likelihood of tropical cyclone formation. So the period covers from April 26 to May 9, while the rainfall exceedance forecast, so higher chance of 25 millimeter of rainfall for the next 2 weeks, especially in Mindanao and CAR, while moderate probability naman po in Bicol region. While for 50 millimeter naman po is moderate to high probability for some parts of Mindanao, and especially dun sa parts po ng Western Mindanao, while for 100 millimeter is low probability in most parts of the country. So, ma-access po yung mga products na yun dito sa website ng PAGASA. So, for tropical cyclone potential threat at threat potential, is makikita po siya dito sa tropical cyclone tab. Then, TC threat potential, it is updated Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Ito po siya. Then for yung rainfall naman po, 2-week rainfall forecast, sandito po siya sa climate tab, climate prediction, then subseasonal forecast. So ganito po yung tsura. So maraming salamat po. That ends my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruiz, for that informative forecast. So, as for him, wala tayong inaasahang bagyo for the next 2 days o mababa yung likelihood na magkakaroon ng bagyo sa susunod na 2 linggo. At wala namang significant na ulan din na nakikita sa ating forecast. Although may mga thunderstorms lamang na magbibigay ng mga pag-ulan. And I guess we're ahead of our schedule. So, maybe we can have a 10-minute break, health break. So, pwede kayo mag-stretch, you can hydrate and relax. And before we continue with our program.